Hello there. It's great to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I'm Regatchukum, but first, the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari attends one-year ministerial retreat as federal government resolves to intensify efforts at diversifying economy. Cross River and Ondo states to serve as pilots for cocoa and oil palm production for enhanced land use system. Stakeholders seek improved access to education in COVID-19 pandemic as World marks Literacy Day. And now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has attended the second day of the Ministerial Performance Review Retreat, which started Monday. The president, who addressed the ministers, asked them to redouble their efforts and come up with ideas which will hasten government's plan to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. The president said while appreciable progress has been made in many landmark projects, the diversification of the economy through agriculture is on course.
To gradually close the gap between the different classes, to bring joy to a greater number of the citizens. I am glad that these policies, programs and projects have recorded appreciable successes. Our renewed vigor on agriculture has been demonstrated through our Anchor Growers program and the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. We have made progress on the railway projects with a view to connecting different parts of the country.
The president, who returned from Niamey, Niger Republic after attending the 57th Ordinary Session of ECOWAS, was briefed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, on the success of the retreat so far. He said submission at the retreat centered around the need for government to prioritize agriculture, job creation, industrialization, with a focus on digital economy. All these to be achieved through curbing corruption. And COVID-19 across the globe has continued to pose challenges for all, including migrants, especially working under inhuman conditions. The Civil Society Network on Migration and Development, Nigeria, is engaging stakeholders working on migration to create a platform for the protection of migrants. Obiageli Ugokwe completes the story.
The adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic has affected the livelihood of migrants, resulting in hardship to an estimated 25.2 million refugees, asylum seekers and internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Africa. Oftentimes, they are hosted in areas with limited access to services such as water, sanitation, hygiene, and quality health system. Civil Society Network on Migration and Development, CSO Netmate, is engaging all stakeholders working on migration management and related issues in Nigeria to establish a platform for appropriate reporting and follow-up of migrants' rights violation.
Responding to the issue of the pandemic, we found out that most times these migrants are not mainstreamed within these processes of both palliative measures and also recovery measures.
From what I gathered, we're not giving palliatives, and we don't really try to reach out to them. Forgetting that the reason for which they left might still drag them out.
The stakeholders are advocating the need to set out measures to adequately improve social protection of migrants and ensure overall protection of their lives and well-being during and after COVID-19.
We need to establish more of this MRC to have a very wider coverage within the 6 geopolitical zones.
The ministry is very, very mindful of ensuring that
no one is left behind in delivering the humanitarian response.
The CSO NetMade helps civil societies to build and strengthen the work of diverse actors, including government and non-governmental organizations who work with migrants at the grassroots with the support of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
Nigeria also joined the rest of the world in marking International Literacy Day. Since 1966, International Literacy Day celebrations have taken place annually around the world to remind the public of the importance of literacy. The focus for this year is literacy teaching and learning in the COVID-19 crisis and beyond. Correspondent Olayinka Ojo in this report takes a look at the role of educators in teaching effective pedagogies that can be used in adult literacy programs.
Since 1967, International Literacy Day celebrations have taken place annually around the world to remind the public of the importance of literacy as a matter of dignity and human rights, and to advance the literacy agenda towards a more literate and sustainable society. Despite progress made, literacy challenges persist, with at least 773 million adults worldwide lacking basic literacy skills today.
We know education is the only weapon to fight vulnerability.
The recent COVID-19 crisis has been a stark reminder of the existing gap between policy, discourse, and reality. With COVID-19 in many countries, adult literacy programs have been non-existent in the initial education response plan. So, most adult literacy programs that did exist were suspended, with just a few courses continuing virtually through television and radio or an open air space. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, adopted by world leaders in September 2015, promotes universal access to quality education and learning opportunities throughout people's lives. Sustainable Development Goal 4 has as one of its targets ensuring all young people achieve literacy.
I want to become a doctor to treat those people who are not fine and sick.
We are training over 30,000 women and girls on second chance education.
We need massive investments. We need massive training of our teachers in terms of modern curriculum, in terms of where the world has taken us now after COVID-19, which is that beyond face-to-face learning, we need to adapt technology.
Educationists are of the consensus that literacy increases job opportunities and access to higher education, as the understanding of the substantive human rights should be a common knowledge to Nigerians.
Now, after 16 weeks of intensive training, 36 officers of the Nigerian Air Force have earned the elite position of intelligence tradesmen. Let's look at what this portends for national security. Stepping smartly to receive their certificates as qualified intelligence officers, these pioneer graduates of the course at the Defense Intelligence College, Karu, will also need to be 2 steps ahead of criminal elements in order to turn the tide against security threats.
Without good intelligence, you can't succeed in anything you do operationally. So we are very excited, and I want to congratulate the Chief of Defense Intelligence and the Commandant of the college.
This course is coming quite timely, given the increased activities, in the Northeast and other parts of Nigeria. So the Defense Intelligence College is poised, and we're happy we are contributing our own quota.
With what we have acquired, contribute our quota significantly when we are tasked in the field to carry out our various assignments. Thank you.
With breaches in classified documents and intelligence reports being on the list of threats to national security, Squadron Leader Igurube and his counterparts will also need to evolve strategies to intercept such breaches. Now, 8th September every year is designated World Physical Therapy Day. It's an opportunity for physiotherapists from all over the world to raise awareness about the crucial contribution the profession makes to keep people well, mobile and independent. The day also highlights the unity and solidarity of the global physiotherapy community. This year's theme of World Physical Therapy Day, or World PT Day, focuses on rehabilitation and COVID-19. The purpose of the day is to focus on the delivery of physiotherapy through telehealth. The World Confederation of Physical Therapy in 1996 designated 8 September as the Physical Therapy Day. We'll take a break now, and when we return, there'll be more stories. Thanks for staying with NTA International. Now, China says it has dealt with the COVID-19 outbreak in an open and transparent manner, just as global confirmed cases now surpass 27.5 million. Details with Justin Bem Onyi.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has defended his country's handling of the coronavirus, saying Beijing acted in an open and transparent manner and that it had taken concrete efforts that helped save tens of millions of lives around the world during the pandemic. He was speaking at a ceremony honoring those at the forefront of the fight against coronavirus, where he declared that China was the first large economy to return to growth during the pandemic. A fact, he said, demonstrates the country's strong abilities and vitality. China has been facing intense criticism by several countries, including the United States and Australia, over its response to the disease. In the meantime, the World Health Organization has announced that its review committee has started evaluating the functioning of the International Health Response (IHR) during the coronavirus pandemic so far, and recommends any change it believes it's necessary. This disclosure was contained in a statement made by the Director General of WHO, Tedros Ghebreyesus, during a media briefing on COVID-19. In other news, 9 biopharmaceutical companies have signed an unusual pledge to uphold high ethical standards, suggesting they won't seek premature government approval for COVID-19 vaccines. 9 drug companies issued a joint pledge that they would stand with science and not put forward a vaccine until it had been thoroughly vetted for safety and efficacy. Now, let's take a look at the numbers from where globally, as at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Worldometer statistics indicated 27,598,802 confirmed coronavirus cases, of which 19,686,805 are recoveries and 898,623 are deaths. From Africa, 1,306,817 cases have been confirmed, with 1,045,434 recoveries and 31,526 deaths. Out of these numbers, Nigeria has recorded 55,160 cases that come with 43,231 recoveries and 1,061 deaths. And this is where the update on the global pandemic ends. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Justin. And still on health, experts have cautioned against inappropriate use of words and representation in suicide reportage, which they say triggers more cases. At a webinar on mental health organized by an arm of the World Health Organization, ASIDO Foundation and other partners, experts maintained that the rise in cases of suicide can also be attributed to media neglect. Uche Regatchukum reports.
WHO statistics show suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people aged 15 to 29 years globally. The upsurge in suicide cases worries mental health experts who believe equipping the media with proper language and style in reporting suicide cases would douse the negative effects wrong information have on the public.
Media practitioners are not they do not want to have to contribute harm to the community. Their intention always is to be helpful. So, but occasionally, what they do can result in harm.
So the media will do better if we move away from hype and we promote defined values and principles.
They advised that the media should avoid detailed description while reporting suicide and report mental health as any other public health issue.
It's important for us to appreciate that between mental health and mental illness is a spectrum. Nobody is at 100% mental health. Nobody is at zero. All of us are at various points along that continuum.
They agreed that the media must promote the fact that people with mental health or illness can be treated and can return to their normal lives. Uche Regatchukum, NTA News.
And now to agriculture. The devastation of farmlands caused by flooding across communities is a setback to federal government's policy of improving rice cultivation for local consumption. Against this background, federal lawmakers from Kebbi have offered suggestions which could mitigate the impact of the disaster as farmers count losses running into billions of naira. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The focal point of President Buhari's agricultural policy is empowering local farmers to produce staple like rice in an effort to stop importation. The flooding experienced in states like Kebbi, which has so far ravaged the entire state, with losses estimated at more than 10 billion naira, generated concerns. The Kebbi State Caucus at the House of Representatives pointed the urgent need to address this situation in view of impending food shortfall, in addition to ongoing emergency response by relevant authorities.
This may include adequate and early preparation for dry season farming and the reconstructions of major infrastructure affected in the state.
Going forward, the lawmakers advocated that a study be commissioned to provide solutions to the recurring disaster in Kebbi and other flood-prone parts of the country.
From the boundary of Argungu down to close to Benin Republic, all that is submerged by flooding. This is quite different. Calls for help. So we are at that level now.
Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is initiating a land use and restoration program to promote sustainable food production practices in Nigeria using cocoa and oil palm as pilots. Onengiye Fineface reports.
Land is the primary resource for agriculture, especially food production, and an integral part of natural ecosystems. Now, over-exploitation of land and its resources do not only deplete the resources, but also degrade the quality of the ecosystem. As Nigeria strives to actualize food security, sustainable land use and landscape management becomes imperative for sustained food production.
Into massive agricultural
Conversations at this Inception workshop, courtesy of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in collaboration with the Global Environment Facility, are centered on the best ways to use land resources to produce food in a sustainable manner.
The project will therefore take into consideration the inherent potential of the Nigerian rainforest, which is classified amongst the biodiversity hotspots in the world. But it will also take into consideration the country's need for cultivation of diverse agricultural commodities.
The focus of this phase is cocoa and oil palm production in Cross River and Ondo states as pilots for food systems, land use and restoration program funding in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria.
We in the Federal Ministry of Agri, we are really promoting the climate smart agricultural practices among our smallholders farmer, and this will allow for sustainable use of the land.
And at the very same time, repositioning the environment for the sustainability of our continuous existence.
Our technical session of the workshop will articulate best practices for land use and sustainable food production. In Abuja, on NTA I, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the rehabilitation of Regatchukum Bridge is taking new dimensions every day. The engineers, however, say they are waking up to new challenges which threaten the integrity of the two bridges. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
Work has progressed on the Regatchukum Bridge. We have observed that the engineers have successfully excavated the wet soil that form part of the transition base, which caved in about 10 days ago. What they have brought in now are boulders and concrete to refill that transition base. And over there, we have reported about 2 days ago that the other transition base of the same bridge is also caving in. But this morning we have observed that they have been able to excavate the wet soil there, awaiting refill.
What remains mind-boggling lies on the bridge, which carries the traffic while the other one is closed for repairs. Its transition base is under threat. More worrisome, it's that its integrity is shaken and it is beginning to collapse.
The engineers have carried out repair work on the transition base of the only bridge that carries the traffic for now. But unfortunately, this morning, it has also given way. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
The Caretaker and Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee of the APC says it is working to justify the confidence reposed in it by the leader of the party, President Muhammadu Buhari. Chairman of the Caretaker Committee, Governor Mai Mala Buni, is engaging stakeholders as part of the peace-building process. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
The latest visitors to the APC National Secretariat are the party stalwarts from Taraba and Zamfara State. Their engagements with the Caretaker Committee were behind closed door. Former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, and the Chairman of APC in Taraba, Ibrahim El Sudi, briefed the media after their deliberations.
We are ready for reconciliation and we are supporting the Chairman and the Acting Chairman for any reconciliation ranging from Zamfara State to anywhere. We want our party to deliver and redeliver and redeliver.
He has assured us they are going to look into the plight of Taraba APC with a view to solving the plethora of issues that are hanging on the air.
They said the desire of party faithful in both Zamfara and Taraba states to uplift the APC is non-negotiable. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And up next is Sports Update with Tamara Ibiwe.